Welcome back to the My Pro Golfer channel. Today, based on your feedback and comments, and what was really clear that people wanted to know is that you loved last week's video, but you're like, how does it incorporate with the driver? And today, we're gonna take you through the same process and the changes that you need to make with driver to execute the same shots you learned last week. Hey, thanks for watching today's episode. Here at My Pro Golfer, you know we like to keep things simple. And today, I've got a special gift for you to help you never miss a 5-foot putt again. Click the link below and download today. All right, so just last week, we clearly have a similar look with some obviously distinct changes. So we've got the circle of fire, I like to call it, over there. And so visually, your image of the driver, so many people try to lift the ball in the air, and the goal of the driver is actually to compress the ball against the face of the club, and based on how you're built, you're gonna let the body stay in the shot but the club naturally going up. So let's just talk about that real quick. And remember, I gotta be very clear here, this will not help you if you're not done with the 4 steps of the olive tree method. So if this is your first time seeing my videos, pause, go into playlist setup, turn, impact, and finish. Take yourself through the process to get to a position where this actually makes sense. If you're not doing the 4 steps, this is irrelevant to you because it's not in the process to hit a good shot. That's why most golf instruction is incorrect, because it's just not timely for you, the student, that can try to do this move from a horrible position. You will not pull it off ever. You have to build the 4 steps, which are setup, turn, impact, and finish like a tour player before you can curve the ball in the air with a driver like a tour player. So do that first, pause, go check that stuff out, and come back when you're done with those 4 steps. All right, either you've accepted the challenge and you've gone through the 4 steps, or you're just glutton for punishment and you're gonna try this without moving through the ball correctly. So I'm just gonna assume that you know how to move the body correctly in the golf swing, which is a very unnatural movement pattern. And so if you're doing it poorly, this will not help, but at least you'll have the knowledge. So let's get ourselves set up here. I'm setting up square. My target line is the black line, and it's gonna go right through the circle of fire. I want you to not lift the driver in the air, which can become a thing even in the olive tree method if you don't have enough loft in your club. So your body's trying to do this, which is not brushing for 12 inches, which is step 3 of the olive tree method. If we do this, this doesn't matter because it's nowhere near the club. And understand that that's really, really, really important. So now we're gonna build a stance, square to square to square. And my goal, even though that thing looks way right, I know because of the rods that it's not, and I'm just gonna try to hit it right through that circle of fire. That was shockingly good, right down the USA flags. Real quick, before we get too far along, I wanted to show you the face here of the club. You can see where that last ball was struck, and if I had a golf ball in my pocket, I could show you that basically that was teed up there on the white, and that ball struck right about there, which is really kind of an optimal spot. And the reason why I use white tees with some of the paint on them, and I use the olive tree method tee and then the My Pro Golfer 2.4 on the side for a number of reasons, but if you put the tee in the ground at the right level, it'd be the right option. So like for me, when I put the M in the ground and the M sticks out, I know that I've got my 3-wood kind of height. When I go down to the 2.4 and I stick it in the ground, I know I've got my optimal driver height based on the path that I'm trying to create. So just a little something, a little extra to feel that. So that ball was struck there. The tee obviously was very square because the ball went very forward, very straight. And I'm really excited about the feel and the sound of that. That's kind of the strike. You can see how it's right on the M there. So we got the club here, we're sweeping up on the shot. Naturally, even though we're looking to swing through the circle of fire, we're swinging up on it naturally based on ball position, hitting a really solid, boring trajectory of a shot that will get me in almost every fairway every time. All right, so hopefully you at home have at least seen your swing on video, and so you're going to understand a pathway that's going to kind of look like yours. You're either going to be in to out, you're going to be down the line, or you're going to be out to in. It's very hard to be excessively one way or the other. It'll feel really strange. So you're generally one or the other, and the tour player is 90% here, just right on the target line, just because there's no issues, no excessive changes of direction. So the first swing I gave you was right down the line. Now, I've got the club a little bit in the front of my stance. I'm gonna just slightly shut my body, keeping the face square, and I'm gonna swing in to out. And by doing that, you notice how the toe of the club starts to go up. If I'm a slicer, and I come in to out, I'm gonna block cut it. See the face? So I wanna stay inside the ball, swing out, and let that toe release. That's gonna create a fairly high draw mechanism to make the ball curve to the left. That ball kind of stayed there. I kind of stood up in that shot, but on my cone line, that's just gonna be the right side of the fairway. So it didn't curve as much as I wanted to. I'm trying to get that curvature kind of out. I don't want to know I can hit that big hook draw anymore. I'm trying to be more down the line to a slight fade. So let's just look at that position here. So now that you saw the in to out, ball clearly started right. All I have to do is release the toe more, and I'll get much more of a right draw mechanism going. Now, I'm gonna square that face at the target line again, just like we did in last week's video. Open up my stance a little bit, open up my shoulders a little bit, and swing down my body line, which will naturally create me swinging down the white line left, hitting it left of the circle of fire, curving it back into it. And that one was perfect. And it's much more comfortable for me. Funny enough, it's much more comfortable for tour players too. So if you watch the tracker, when you're watching golf on television, the majority of the drives start left and aim and finish right if they're a right-handed player. Hey, just want to remind you to not forget on getting your free gift below on how to never miss a 5-foot putt. So last but not least, just some information to help you with these shots. So if you are getting comfortable with being more of a draw player, so just a little bit more in to out and releasing the toe, then you'll get the ball elevated and it will curve. If you're getting too much of that, you're going to want to tee the ball down. You can see how the ball literally from the camera angle goes away here, and that makes it just going to be more shallow and more on top of the golf ball, creating more of a natural on top of the golf ball move, so that the face cuts across it and keeps it low and spinny and more control. You'll lose a little bit of distance that way, but a lot of the tour players do that in order to make sure that they hit what they call a fairway finder. So I'm gonna hit you the fairway finder first. We're gonna get our bodies just in our normal setup. You don't have to overswing, but you can swing just kind of normal pace. You're gonna get on top of the golf ball. The ball's gonna cut more because the swing's steeper. You'll see the tee get knocked down low, and I'm right in the middle of the fairway, probably like 255, 260, nothing crazy. And then I'm gonna build my stance, get the ball a little bit more up in my stance. This is great when you're downwind and the ball will actually get moved with the wind. So if you build your stance, get your shoulders set in a little bit more of a lift mentality. Now you can go into out, releasing the toe and getting the ball way up in the air. We're gonna let you see that same movement here, and much higher ball flight. And that wind downwind is gonna allow that ball to continue on a straight path to get the most optimal distance out of it you can. Knowing what is in the way and what you can carry and what you can stay short of is how you should pick what shot shape to hit based on the hole in front of you. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that was really educational for you and you got a lot of information out of it. Once you start to learn how to move correctly to hit the shot shapes, then the foresight can really come into play with which numbers you're getting to spin the ball the way that you want for the most optimal position that you can get out there on the golf course. But because the whole point of practicing out here is to hit shots on the golf course that make sense for the hole. So if you got an obvious fade hole, do the fade low tee shot. You got a downwind par 5 with no trouble, no water. You want to hit it as far as you can. Tee it up high and let it fly. Like, let it go. Get it as far down there as you can. But play golf situationally, not just willy-nilly. If you like this video, like it. If you like it, subscribe. We'll see you next Thursday at 6 o'clock.